đang đeo cái bỉm lên đầu đấy à? Này, quay lại đây. Thôi, xí.
Outside of Vietnam, pho is often seen as an expensive, trendy dinner option. But here, it's the ultimate everyday morning fuel. Hey guys, I'm Ann. Today, my wife and I are grabbing our daily bowls for only $1 or $2. The economics of street food here allow for hours of simmering bone broth at a fraction of the cost you'd pay back home. It completely changes how you view premium food. How much does a bowl of pho cost where you live?
Cô cắt cho cháu 2 quả nhé.
We eat at this exact spot all the time. It's incredibly good and has stood the test of time for over 2 decades. If you didn't know, Vietnam has a deeply rich breakfast culture, mainly because eating at home in the morning just isn't the norm here. Beyond the food, though, there's another topic I want to dive into today. I want to tell you a story about what's currently going on in Vietnamese society. When we think of elaborate financial scams, we usually picture seasoned criminals, faceless hackers. But the reality is often much closer to home. Recently, there's been a heartbreaking situation involving a segment of young people in Vietnam. And from my research, exact similar scenarios are playing out in the UK as well. Driven by a desire for quick, effortless money, they've been joining fraudulent companies selling fake vacation packages. Their targets? The elderly. Many people lost significant amounts of their life savings. But what truly outraged the public was the sheer audacity. When confronted by the victims, instead of showing remorse, these young scammers continued to manipulate them, displaying incredibly offensive and arrogant attitudes. It begs a deep psychological question. Why is the obsession with instant success so blinding? The craving for instant gratification seems to completely short-circuit their empathy, allowing them to justify deceiving people the exact same age as their own grandparents, just to satisfy their own desires. Fortunately, the Vietnamese government handled this exceptionally well. They intervened immediately and made those individuals face the consequences. It was only when the authorities stepped in that these young people finally bowed their heads and apologized to the victims. While justice was served, the underlying truth is still deeply sad. There are so many legitimate paths in life, yet they chose the darkest one for a quick payout. Similarly, it's so easy on YouTube to fall into the trap of faking reality for views. I could easily fabricate a scenario where I'm struggling or desperate just to win your sympathy. But I don't want to deceive anyone. Human connection relies on authenticity. I choose to approach you genuinely, exactly as I am in my everyday life. You might not be instantly hooked by me compared to those high drama channels, but I know that over time, you'll feel the sincerity in these videos. There's an old Asian proverb, true gold fears no fire. Real authenticity can't be burned away. If you want to discover what the real, everyday life of Vietnamese people actually looks like, I'd love for you to like and subscribe. Thanks for being here with me. There's a common myth in travel that to experience a truly authentic culture, it has to look completely isolated and different from the rest of the world. But take a look around Son Tay ancient citadel with me. You might be squinting at your screen thinking, wait, Anne, that looks a lot like China. And you know what? You're completely right. From a sociological perspective, culture isn't a walled garden. It's a flowing river. Vietnam and China share a border and thousands of years of history. So naturally, architectural styles and major traditions, like the Lunar New Year, bleed into one another. Proximity dictates culture. Honestly, recognizing these similarities is a great mental tool for everyday life. Instead of looking for what divides us, finding the familiar in the foreign reminds us that we share so much more with our neighbors than we think. Am I right? Take a look at these two dragons. They were originally set up for the Mid-Autumn Festival, but I'm guessing because they look so incredibly detailed and probably cost a ton, the leaders here just decided to leave them up as permanent decorations. If you didn't know, the dragon is the absolute most noble mythical creature in Asian culture. Back in the day, only kings and the highest-ranking nobles were legally allowed to own anything with a dragon on it. I don't know if they ever truly existed because I've certainly never seen one, and I'd bet my life nobody else has in real life either. It makes me wonder, could a dragon actually just be an ancient dinosaur that people found bones of? It's a funny thought, but it makes so much sense. Anyway, my daughter was actually born in the year of the dragon. Even if they are just a myth, it's still the absolute perfect symbol of strength and grace to pass on to her. Okay, let's wander into this fair for a second. Most tourists think of these local markets as just chaotic places to grab a quick bite. But if you look at the psychology of cravings, the mix of aromas here is perfectly designed to trigger your appetite from every single angle. They sell so much amazing food here: candied fruits, fresh rice rolls, and savory pork sausages. I'm a true food lover, so I'm basically in heaven right now. Feeding your curiosity through street food is the ultimate mood booster. Oh, I have to say, Vietnamese food is just out of this world. If you go to major cities like Hanoi, life is a constant, rushing blur. But here in Son Tay, it's like someone finally hit the pause button. Life here is just relaxing. You can actually breathe in the fresh air. People still take the time to smile at each other. And the cost of living is so much more forgiving. But if I'm being completely honest, the scenery and the cheap prices are just a bonus. The real reason I choose this slower pace is because it allows me to be close to my family. At the end of the day, out of everything else in the world, that is the single most important thing to me. What does your typical evening look like? Are you hitting up a bar or a roadside cafe to chat with friends? Forget all of that. The real beating heart of Vietnamese nightlife is on the pavement. We just grab a piece of cardboard, sit right on the sidewalk, crack open some sunflower seeds, and sip on iced tea while gossiping about the latest trending drama online. There is a real psychology to this. Stripping away the fancy environment just leads to more genuine, unfiltered conversations. I love this simple style so much. If you ever come to Vietnam, you have to experience it. But consider this a friendly warning. Be careful. Some street vendors will multiply the price the second they realize you're a foreigner. So remember this golden rule. A cup of iced tea is currently only 5,000 Vietnamese dong. Commit that to memory.